Hi, I'm Jonathan Mills, the #1 agent in Alachua County, and today I want to give you the most robust recap of the luxury market in 2025 here in Gainesville, Florida. If you own a home worth over $1 million in Alachua County, this is the most important video you'll watch all year. Today, I'm going to break down every transaction that sold over $1 million in Alachua County in 2025 to help you prepare for the 2026 market. We're going to cover how many homes sold, what they sold for, what the average price per square foot was, how big they were, what the lowest and highest sales prices were, everything. So in markets like Miami or New York, luxury usually starts at a price point of $2 to $4 million. Unfortunately, that's not the case here in Alachua County, maybe fortunately. But what we think of when we think of luxury in Alachua County, we're thinking of $1 million plus. And so that's what this video is going to focus on, is all of the home sales worth over $1 million. So off the rip, I want to talk about the progression of home sales in Alachua County because there's been a huge change in the million plus market over the last 5 years. So I want to take a trip back to 2021. For those of you who don't know, 2021 was the largest year of home sales on record since 2008. So you would assume that the highest number of $1 million homes were sold during that time. Completely wrong. In 2021, there were 40 homes sold for a total volume of $52 million in sales volume. Not bad, but we have nothing to compare that to. So let's look a few years out. In 2023, there's a pretty big jump. We sold 65 homes for a total of $87 million in volume. Sounds a lot better. Here's where things get crazy. Both 2024 and 2025, we sold 87 and 89 homes respectively each year for a total of over $124 million in volume 2 years in a row. That's a 137% increase compared to just 5 years ago. That is a massive change in the market share of $1 million homes. If you considered selling your home in Gainesville and it's worth over $1 million, this could be the best year to do so ever. And I've got the statistics to prove it. So not only has sales volume grown by over 137% in just 5 years, the sales prices are also climbing year over year over year. So let's take a trip down memory lane. In 2023, the highest sales price was just below $2.4 million. Not bad for a place like Gainesville. But by 2024, just a year later, the highest sales price was over $3 million at $3,009,000. Last year, I had the pleasure of representing the #1 sale ever in the history of Alachua County, and we broke the record by over $700,000 to a new total of $3,721,000. That sale created a new benchmark for luxury sales in Gainesville, and I have a firm belief that this year, 2026, will be the year that Gainesville finally has a home sale over $4 million. So we've talked about the market as a whole, but I want to get a little more granular. Let's talk about things like days on market. Days on market for $1 million homes tend to be a little bit longer than the traditional home in Alachua County. Last year, the average home took about 60 days to sell. $1 million homes, on average, took 93 days to sell. But here's what I found interesting. If we actually change that just a little bit and look at the median days on market, it was only 29. That's pretty good. In fact, that's half of what the average home took to sell. So what that tells me is there were some listings that took a really long time to sell. That's not unusual. In the $1 million plus price range, if you have an outdated home, it can take years to sell. Or if it's in an area that's not as desirable, the same thing, it can take a long time to sell. When we average all of that data together, that can really drag out the number of days that a home spends on market. But if we look at the median days on market, below 30 days is extremely impressive. That's significantly less than the average home in Alachua County, which means $1 million homes that are well kept in good neighborhoods sell faster than similar $500,000 homes. And I find that super impressive. Now, just as importantly as days on market is price per square foot. To give a frame of reference, like we talked about in another video, price per square foot is the #1 number that every buyer, realtor, and appraiser is looking at. And so for you as a $1 million homeowner, you probably care about what that number looks like. Well, in 2025, the average price per square foot in Alachua County was $348 a square foot for a home above $1 million. That's significantly above the, I would say, average price per square foot of about $200 in Alachua County, almost double. So the average price per square foot for $1 million homes was $348 in 2025, and the median was $344. So the data is extremely consistent. If you want this level of insight every single week, look no further. The Mills Group has officially launched the Mills Report. the first of its kind million-plus home sale report specifically for Gainesville and Alachua County. Every week, we'll send you an update on the number of homes sold, listed, and pended in the previous week over $1 million so that you have these insights every single week. Look up the Mills Report on Google. There are major variances in neighborhoods. For example, Oakmont and Town of Tioga are going to fetch significantly higher prices than rural areas. Also, homes on land. Homes that are on 5 and 10 acres are going to get significantly higher prices per square foot than $1 million homes on half-acre lots. If we look back just a few years, we'll find that price per square foot rose and then kind of plateaued. So in 2023, the average price per square foot for million-plus homes was $317 a square foot. In 2024, it was $358 a square foot. Contrasting that to 2025, at $348 a square foot, it seems like we've kind of found our sweet spot of around $350 a square foot. So while prices are not increasing per se, the volume of $1 million home sales is increasing, which means there's a significant uptick in buyer activity, which is extremely important and beneficial for you if you're looking to sell a $1 million home in Gainesville. So let's talk about who's buying all these $1 million homes. Where did all this inventory come from? How did we go from 40 sales in 2021 to almost 100 sales in 2025? As you know, there's been some switch up in the coaching staff at the University of Florida. Those coaches get paid well, and so they buy $1 million homes. As you also know, Shands is a teaching hospital, so doctors are coming and going very regularly, and so they tend to buy $1 million homes. That plays a big part. But another big change post-COVID is people are moving to Florida from California and New York, and they're moving to Miami. And what's interesting is those people in Miami are getting priced out of the market. And so they're selling their homes and they're moving to more rural areas to settle down. So we're finding a lot of retirees who are wanting to be off the coast because of insurance purposes, and they're cashing out on their 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condos or their 3-bedroom, 2-bath golf course front homes, and they're moving on to 1-acre, 2-acre, or even 5-acre lots in larger homes for the same price here in Alachua County. So those are the 3 areas I'm seeing most of our sales coming from: coaching staff, physicians, and then retirees looking to get out of South Florida, Miami, and New York. All this to say, last year we saw the highest number of homes over $1 million sold, and I don't see that trend stopping anytime soon. While we have seen a plateau, for example, in 2024 we saw 87 homes sold versus in 2025 just 89, I don't think we're going to see significant growth, but I imagine we're going to be somewhere between 85 and 100 homes sold over $1 million. I'm also making the prediction that this will be the highest year on record in volume sold for $1 million homes in Gainesville. The last 2 years in a row, we've had $124 million in volume. I think we'll be north of $125 million this year. Again, no major news, but the trends are clearly showing that people are moving to Florida, and a lot of people are choosing Central Florida, like Gainesville. And so, because of the change in the coaching staff and the changes happening at the University of Florida and Shands Hospital, I think there's a lot of movement happening in the market, especially above $1 million. And given that interest rates are lightening and softening just a little bit, I think there's going to be some upgrade happening, meaning people selling their $1 million homes to move into $1.5 or $2 million homes, which creates more activity. And so with all of that in mind, I'm going to gander that 2026 is going to be the best year for $1 million home sales ever in Alachua County. The good news is I've got the record in several different areas, Gainesville and the city of Alachua, for the highest homes sold ever. If you're looking to get top dollar for your $1 million+ home, there's no better agent to call than Jonathan Mills. So let's have a talk. I'm Jonathan Mills, the #1 agent in Alachua County, and I'd love to help you sell your $1 million home.